Hi everyone, it's Brannigan'sLaw 84 again. I'm here to show you off some of the movies that I've gotten in the past couple days. I got these in through the mail, except for one of them. I got it at FYE, and I'm going to show those off right now. The first two up are Iron Master and Equalizer 2000. So I got these in from the Dark Force Superstore. That is a website that was created. Oh, it's I guess we can call it co-owned, or it's owned by a former wrestler named David DeFalco, and he gets a lot of product in from William Olson, who owns Code Red. And Iron Master is a film I'm familiar with. I have it on VHS. I got the VHS back around 2006. It's an Italian film. It's directed by Umberto Lenzi, and it's pretty good. I mean, this cover art I wasn't too familiar with. There's another cover art. I don't know if it's on the inside. I haven't opened it or not. I highly doubt that this is. They usually, Code Red does not do reversible slip covers or reversible sleeves. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I highly doubt that this one would have the reversible art that has the original, or not original, but the video release cover from over here in the States that a lot of us are familiar with. But you know what? I'm going to open this right now, and we're going to find out together to see if this does have some alternate art inside of it. So let me go ahead and open up this guy, and let's see if it does indeed have. And no, it doesn't. It's just a disc art. So that's par for the course. I mean, there are very few Code Red films that do have reversible sleeves, but when they do, they're pretty cool. And this film itself, like I said, it's pretty low budget, but it's a good little film. It takes place obviously here during the prehistoric times. George Eastman there, he discovers metal, and he's able to fashion a crude sword. And you can see that this right here is what they're primarily using, these hatchets made out of sharpened rocks. And this guy is the one that starts off fighting with George Eastman, and eventually they learn how to use bows and arrows. So that's pretty cool too. Like he discovers how to use a bow and arrow, like he creates it, whereas George Eastman had learned about, or he had discovered metal. And George Eastman also at one point kills a lion, and he wears the lion's like head as basically like a mask. If you've seen the Hercules film with Dwayne Johnson, that film, in that film he does the same thing. And that was, I remember, I thought of this movie immediately. Excuse me, I thought of this movie immediately because of that, because George Eastman does the same thing. And the special feature that really sold me on this was the interview with George Eastman. He is very candid in a lot of the other interviews recently that I've seen him, and he was interviewed for Blast Fighter, and he was also interviewed for Delirium Photos of Gioa, I believe that's the way it's pronounced. And I mean, he does not hold back what's on his mind. I mean, he will just say whatever's on his mind, and he makes for an interesting interview subject. So, I mean, I had already seen this movie. I thought it was okay, but when I found out that George Eastman had actually done a new interview for this, I thought, you know what, I really gotta pick this up. So, it was available through Ronin Flicks originally. I don't think they have any more copies available to there. That's why I got this through the Dark Force Superstore, because they had it for a good deal. I believe I only paid like $22 for it, and I mean that is quite a bit of money. But when you get Code Red releases and even the Dark Force releases, they're typically a little bit more priced at a premium, because they're cult films, and a lot of them are not very well known. And I mean, when they are, they're amongst cult fans like myself who know about these titles, or who want to take a chance on them. Maybe we saw a trailer for them, or we wanted to, or like we heard about it online. So like, this is one that I was familiar with, and I wanted to see it. I've only been familiar with it from VHS. So that's Iron Master. Next up, Equalizer 2000. I saw this one. I've never seen it before, but I remember when it came out. I never bothered picking it up. It was out through Screen Archives first, and then I believe Diabolic DVD had some copies. So did Ronin Flicks. Ronin Flicks sold out, and they got in some of these at the Dark Force Superstore. So I ended up picking, this is number 44 from Code Red. So I picked this one up. I bought a couple of Code Red titles some time ago, and they did have a trailer. They had several trailers for these films on it, so I thought that was pretty cool. And this one and I believe they're called the Devastators, I think, and the Sisterhood, stuff like that. There's several of those films. I know that they were all being sold as like a package deal over on Screen Archives, and they're still available on Screen Archives. Like this title is still available either in a package or on its own at Screen Archives. So I think to be honest, I think Iron Master is also on there as well. But this is directed by Sir H. Santiago. I'm not too familiar with his films, but I hear a lot of good things about. These are all I believe they're Filipino lensed post-apocalyptic films. So the trailer for it really sold me because of the fact that this guy has this really crazy looking gun right there, and I'm looking forward to watching the movie and seeing how it is, because I mean there's another one called Wheels of Fire. That one I'm looking to pick up because I think I've been hearing good things about that one, so I'll probably pick that one up next. After I see this one, and hopefully I should enjoy it. I mean, the trailer looked pretty fun, and I'm always into these kinds of films. Next up, we have Back to the Future, the animated series, season 1. I picked this guy up at FYE, and if you can see right there, I paid $3.99 for this DVD. It was $5.99. I got it for $3.99 FYE. This was the only copy they had. The complete series typically goes for about $20, and when I saw this, I knew I had to pick it up, because from what I understand, the complete series is just this one, and there's another set for season 2, and they're just bundled together. That's all the complete series is, and you can buy season 2 for about $10 on Amazon. So that's what I'm planning on doing, because I highly doubt. I looked everywhere at FYE, I could not find season 2. This is the only copy I found of season 1. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I remember when the cartoon was out, I remember they had action figures at Burger King. This was back in the early 90s when I was a kid. So I'm looking forward to watching this. I honestly don't recall seeing any of these episodes. Maybe I saw 1 or 2. But I mean, this also seeing this, just looking at this, reminds me of the early 90s when they had a lot of different, they were turning a lot of movies into cartoons. Like there was a cartoon of The Mask, the Jim Carrey stuff. Like there was a Dumb and Dumber show also, and I believe there was also an Ace Ventura cartoon. So I mean, those are all things I'd love to see. I mean, there's like tons and tons of cartoons that came out in the 90s that really need to be rediscovered, and hopefully in the near future more of them will start to come out, because a lot of us who grew up in the 90s now we're in our 30s, and this is stuff that we'd like to own on DVD or even at least see on streaming, because some of the stuff isn't even on streaming. So $3.99 for Back to the Future, the animated series season 1. If you're into this kind of stuff, you'll probably find a copy of this if you have an FYE near you. I mean, this FYE that I go to, it's the only one within about a 4-hour driving distance, and I'm really lucky that it's nearby. Now on to these next several films. I got these in today from Amazon. So I have 2 of them are MVD Rewind collection films. This is Double Dragon. This was on sale currently is on sale for $20. So I think the original price for it was like $24 or $27, somewhere around there. It's pretty expensive, but it also has an extensive amount of special features, as you can see there. So I remember when the movie came out, I never did see it. I didn't see it at the theater. I never bothered renting the tape. And then the DVD came out, and then it went out of print, and it started going for like a lot of money. I saw this, maybe 3 years ago, maybe even 4, on Netflix. It was available on there, so I was glad to watch it on there finally, and I thought it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's one of those early 90s video games that turned into a movie, that makes you think of stuff like Super Mario Brothers and Street Fighter. So I'm looking forward to revisiting again and going into these special features. So right now this is $20 on Amazon, and I really like MVD Rewind Collection. They've been doing a lot of great stuff. They are not just putting films out as bare bones releases for the most part. There are some, like the ones I'm going to talk about next, and even those do have some special features. But they do not want to skimp out on stuff. I mean, look at this. They even have, if you can see there, right here, they've even got a full-length documentary that has Scott Wolf and Mark Dacascos. And I mean, Scott Wolf is still a pretty much in-demand actor. So that's really cool. They were also able to do the movie Lionheart, and they're currently doing Double Impact. And they have Jean-Claude Van Damme. They had got him from some new interviews on Lionheart. Lionheart, I believe that's the name of it. Yeah, it's I'm trying to think of the name, but I believe that's the name. I believe it's called Lionheart, and they got him for new interviews and that. And Double Impact is another one that's gonna be coming out, and they got him for interviews in there as well. So here we have the triple feature: Nemesis 2, 3, and 4. This thing was on sale for like $12 or $13. It was like insanely cheap for pre-order on Amazon. I pre-ordered it, and I know even on social media on Facebook, there was some comments made about how this was the #1 MVD seller. It's like, well, you know, a lot of people were chiming in saying, well, you know, first of all, it's because it's probably the cheapest MVD title that's been out there for a pre-order. And I mean, it's 3 films, and I mean, I keep hearing that all 3 of these films are not very good. You might be thinking, well, where's Nemesis? Well, that one's still a little highly priced. I think right now it's hovering at like $24 or $22, somewhere around there. It's getting close to the price point. I mean, like Double Dragon here was $20, and that's why I picked it up. If Nemesis goes down to $20, I'll pick it up. Nemesis, I'm a big fan of. I remember I rented that movie on videotape for $1 back in 2003, and I was blown away. And that's because I had known about it for years. I was very familiar with the really great cover art. Whenever I get the film in, whenever I get the Blu-ray in, I'll show it off, because it has one of my favorite, like all-time favorite cover or poster images, and I think it's really cool. So I remember when these came out, because I remember seeing them at the video store as well, but I never did get around to renting these, not even after I saw the first Nemesis. And I should have, because I would have been curious to see Nemesis 2, 3, and 4. And I mean, all 3 of them are on here. And as you can see, I know I said that like this, some of these releases that MVD's putting out, some of them aren't heavy on extras, but there's still extras on here. If you can kind of see here, it says Albert Pune talks Nemesis 2, 3, and 4. So that's all. I mean, they have him on here doing interviews, so that's pretty cool. And this was, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing these films. Like I said, I heard not so great things about them, but I'm still looking forward to seeing them. And you know, maybe I'll even do a review of these after I've seen them. Okay, last up for the grand finale, we have Bad Ben. If you're watching this video and you know what Bad Ben is, that is awesome, because I barely discovered this film and the excuse me. You can see it says Bad Ben Film Collection, and I mean, I barely discovered this last September. I had not even heard about it, and an acquaintance online mentioned it, and I figured, you know what? He said that they were on Amazon Prime, all of them, and I mean, I just when I saw the first one, I pretty much marathoned all the films within a couple of days, because that's how into them I was. I mean, Bad Ben is quite the technological feat. I mean, this guy, Nigel Bach, and he's right here on the back, he did this first film for about $300, and he is the sole star. Like, he's the only actor in the whole movie. You see him at one point talking on the phone to somebody, but you don't even, I mean, obviously he's probably not really talking to anybody on the other line, but I mean, he's the only person you see in the film. And I thought I was very impressed with what he was able to pull off. So I wanted to pick them all up on DVD. I didn't. I waited, and what happened was, now they're almost none of them are available on Amazon, on Amazon.com. They're still available for streaming, because that's where he releases all of these films on there for streaming. But I mean, I like to have actual physical copies as well. And all of them were available on there just this past like September. They're available through places like Deep Discount. There was Bad Ben, the House on Steelmanville Road. That's the second one. Badder Ben, the Final Chapter, and Bad Ben 4, or yeah, but that's called the Mandela Effect. And now he even has a new one called I believe it's called Bad Ben Presents the Crescent Moon Clown. That's what it's called. That one I literally just saw last week. I hadn't seen it because it just came out, and I liked it. It's actually, that one is only 2 people, and one of those people doesn't show up until the end of the film. So I thought that was pretty cool. So there was only about 3 copies left on Amazon, and I picked this one up for $10. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again, even though I know it's available on streaming. But I like to have physical copies, and there's no Blu-rays of any of these. They're all DVD, which, I mean, I don't care. I just want to own copies of these films. And you see on here, you got the film, the director's commentary. So I'm looking forward. That's one thing you don't really get with streaming. I mean, you're not going to get, there is a making of on there on Amazon where they show how he put this film together, and it's really awesome being able to see how Nigel Bach was able to put it together. But the director's commentary, I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say about how he made the film. So I'm really glad to have this. I'm hoping that they re-release the rest of these films so I can pick them up, because I mean, I really should have picked them up when I first saw them, but sometimes when I see a movie, I want to pick it up right away, but then I figure, well, you know, I just picked it up, and usually when I pick up a film, I want to see it right away, or at least I want to try to, at least within the first couple of weeks. And I had just seen these films, so that's part of the reason why I held off. I figured that copies would still be available, and then I go back there, and the only ones that are available are this one and the latest one, The Crescent Moon Clown. So I knew I had to snatch this up because the copies were already, you know, they were down to just a few left. So this concludes my latest, I guess, pickups. And this is Brannigan'sLaw 84. Once again, like these videos, subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more videos. Thanks for watching.